immersive tech is not just gaming. Designers, like visual designers, art lovers, advertisers, marketing people are going to get into this industry and they're going to change it. And we are going to come up with a new type of marketing and communicating and branding. This is what I'm so excited for. This is why I want to bring my expertise into immersive tech.
Hey, what's going on, everyone? I'm Britton Stepetic, and this is Low Key Legends, the show where I interrogate your favorite creative legends to bring you nuggets of wisdom, techniques, and perspectives to help you on your creative journey. Today, I'm joined across the screen by digital design and branding immersive web expert, Sofia Papadopoulou. Sofia is an independent art and creative director with more than 16 years of experience. Her clients include international startups, design legends like Matthias Correa, co-founder of Behance, Rand Segal, Long, and top digital agencies that you know and love like Superhero Cheesecake, Unit 9, and more. Her work has been recognized by global platforms such as awards, CSSDA, Art Directors Club of Europe, and that's only just to name a few. Beyond designing, she's a speaker and design educator, sharing her knowledge at conferences, through courses and events like awards, Digital Laban, Digitize, and Behance portfolio reviews. She's giving back in small but mighty ways, so hopefully you can catch her at a talk near you. But I've talked too much already. Sofia, thank you so much for coming on the show.
Hi, Peter. Thank you so much for having me. I'm super excited to be here amongst digital design legends.
Well, I think everyone else is more legendary than myself, and this is just a selfish excuse to talk to people that I want to talk to.
No. But, you're right there at the top, Peter. You're right there at the top.
Thank you. My ego needed it. The little boost helped. But I wanted to start maybe in an or a little bit of a peculiar place. I heard this quote in one of your talks, and I wanted to know what it meant to you. So everything you see around you has been designed by someone else for you. This is a quote from Steven Sagmeister. And I wanted to know if you could share what this quote means to you and how it has influenced you as a creative.
Ever since I heard of it, I heard Stefan talk. He's one of my biggest icons growing up in the design industry. Ever since I've heard it, it has really stuck with me. And if you just take a moment to sit with it and understand what that means, I mean, really everything, literally everything you see around you has been designed by someone else for you. So this demonstrates the power that we have as designers to make a real difference and influence people's lives.
So yes. With a career spanning 16 plus years, I'm curious if there are certain phases of kind of your career trajectory. Like, so the early years of Sofia, and then what would the middle chunk be categorized? Because it feels like this most recent chunk from an outside perspective looking in is this future forward technology, but also this core desire to educate and to share ideas. So do you mind walking us through a little bit of your career path and how you got to today?
Absolutely. Okay, yes, I might be presenting myself as a digital art and creative director and a very future-forward one, but it definitely didn't start this way. Going back to my childhood, I've always wanted to be a painter. Ever since I remember myself, I've always had my brushes and sketchbooks and everything with me. My mother told me that other kids were playing with their dolls and stuff. I always had my sketchbooks with me. But I come from a working class family. So at the point that I had to choose for university, there was this painter friend of mine, and she suggested that I check out graphic design. I didn't know what graphic design was. She told me that it would be easier for me to find a job. I checked it out and I absolutely loved it. I fell in love with it and it became my life. So I studied graphic design, 4 years of studies, classical graphic design studies, and I started working in advertising as a graphic designer, developing into an art director. So for 7 years, I've been working in advertising as a graphic designer, developing into art director, being involved in photo shoots, in TV commercials and stuff, which was super interesting. But at the same time, I felt like my creative needs weren't fulfilled in advertising. I always felt that I wanted to do more creative stuff. And I know I've always felt that I was kind of suffocating.
Mm.
But the truth is that even though I thought I was suffocating, I was learning. And the biggest lesson I've learned was that I was never meant to be an artist. I'm a designer. And the biggest learning was that in order for me to be creative, I always needed a goal. I always needed a purpose in order to be creative. So whether that purpose would be to create brand awareness, make a brand statement, to generate sales, I always needed a goal. So 7 years have passed, and that was the moment right in the middle of the Greek economical crisis that I had to make a decision on whether I would stay in Greece and fight it, or I would leave to pursue my creative dreams and my international dreams, because working internationally was a different goal of mine. So back then, my partner and I, we decided to stay. He mentioned this thing to me that made me stay. Like, he told me, if all the good ones, like the good Greeks, like, who do we leave Greece to? So as a true Greek, this ignited my patriotic feeling in me, and I said, no, I'm going to stay here and I'm going to try to make it. So at the same time, I said goodbye to advertising once and for all, and I said goodbye to print once and for all as well. Just before I left my last advertising agency, I have designed my first website. And when I saw my still design come to life, through motion, through interaction, when I understood that this would be a product that people would interact with every day, that was my first aha moment. I said, this is what I want to do. So I became a freelancer. That was the only solution, being here working the Greek crisis, because there were no businesses open. I became a freelancer. I focused on international clients and international relationships, and I focused on digital design. So I'm worked with a Drupal agency here in Thessaloniki. I was living in Thessaloniki back then. For 3 years, I've been working on websites exclusively. They really taught me the tech behind what I was making. And that was the moment that I felt really creative with it. When I understood the tech, when you understand your tools, you need to know your tools in order to be creative. And after that, there was this one project, the .lang personal branding project, that came my way. And that gave me the opportunity to put all of my skills into practice. So I took this project from scratch, coming up with the brand concept, developing the visual identity, then working on the website, of course. And it was the first time that I was assigned to manage a team of 12 people that were all around the globe, to bring the concept to life, to bring the project to life. Motion designers, web developers, we did a photo shoot. So that was my first project as an art and creative director. This project brought a lot of attention, a lot of awards, and a lot more projects like this. So I did that for about 6-7 years more. I worked on holistic digital branding projects from beginning to end, being the lead designer and art and creative director. Until there was this conference that I went, KIC conference in 2017. It's an art and technology conference. That was my second aha moment. It was the first time that I was introduced to VR, AR. There was this tech market outside the conference that startups were showcasing their products, and there was these immersive installations all around the city. And at that moment, 2017, I said, I don't know how, I don't know why. I need to bring this technology into what I do, or I need to go to get into this industry myself. So I've been looking into all of these technologies ever since, trying to self-educate, trying to understand the tech, trying to understand the tools in order to be creative with them.
That's beautiful. And I have a bunch of different questions, and I want to take it back to almost phase one, where you were becoming a designer. And was that transition difficult to lose part of that identity of being an artist and then transition into a designer, or did it feel like an aha moment and feel like it fit you perfect?
Oh, it was tough. Now that you're asking, I think about it. I've never thought about it, but it was a bit tough because I always thought that I was an artist, and it hurt my feelings when I didn't see my creative needs fulfilled. So for a long time, there was this battle inside me that as long as I've been working in advertising, it was only after I left that I understood that I'm a designer and that I was never meant to be an artist. But at that time, there was this constant battle in me. I didn't understand why. I didn't understand exactly what was happening. I thought that being in the business of needing to design for commodities, it kind
Mm.
of lessened my my skills, my abilities, but it was the complete opposite. I think I was too emotional attached to my work. And that was a big lesson again, that the moment that you understand that what you're doing, I mean, we're lucky enough to be doing what we love for a living, but the moment you understand that what you're doing is a job and you're able to detach yourself from it, it's a time that it sets you free and you see things completely differently.
Oh, that's beautiful. That setting free is, I think, what a lot of people get caught up with, and they don't know how to set themselves free from either past identities or transitioning to a new, let's say, skill set or hobby or whatever is kind of lighting them up at the moment. Oh, that's beautiful.
Exactly. And it's the exact same thing when transitioning from being a designer to being an art director and, giving the reins to other people. Again, I'm at a moment, had my big leadership role last year when I was working with Dubai, with Majid Al Futtaim, which is a huge conglomerate in Dubai. They own malls, they have hotels, they build communities out of nowhere. They practically own Dubai. And I was hired to lead a team of 30, 40 people as a creative and art director across a variety of projects. Um, that was actually the first time that I had to let go of design, because I'm usually asked to work on projects with the full package. They know me as a lead designer. They approach me for my design. And I'm hired to be like a art creative director and lead designer. But I enjoyed this role as much as I think it was the role that I've enjoyed the most so far in my career, working with so many incredible people, and seeing how far they can push the project with their own creativity and with their own uniqueness. I've had the luck to work with amazing people, like with Xenia Reisnick, with Holographic, with Dan Barrows. So we had a very strong team there. But again, it was this kind of battle and trying to understand who I am, what is my role, because I'm used to doing the design myself. I'm used to seeing myself as an artist, and I'm transitioning to being a designer. So it's not easy, but it's definitely a sign of growth.
Is there anything core takeaways or something that made it easier to be able to lead that team for that Dubai project? What did you learn that you had to overcome, or how did you step away from this role of the designer in order to give concise and helpful feedback and kind of orchestrate this project in the right direction?
Well, the key takeaway might sound a little bit of a cliche, but it's definitely letting go of your ego. And being able to understand that what you are being surrounded by extremely talented people that know how to do their jobs. Also extremely difficult not to micromanage. I'm thinking of myself as a leader that does not micromanaging. If anyone else has a different opinion, let me know, because I'm very pro feedback. But I want to see myself like that. I don't like to micromanage. I'm always trying to give some reasoning with my feedback. I'm not just saying what I like and I don't like, because this is the way that I ask my feedback from my clients as well. This is the way that I always ask feedback. I want some reasoning to understand what is not working so I can fix it. And I'm the kind of leader, I'm an empathetic kind of leader. So I'm always trying to point out the good things and not just the bad ones. And I always start with the good things. I'm always trying to keep my team motivated, without meaning that, if things go out of rail, I need to bring back everyone into order. That goes without saying. But I believe that being good to people and pointing out their good qualities and what they do well, it just makes them want to work with you and want to do a better job. So yeah, I think those would be my biggest takeaways. Just be nice to people, just be supportive and point out the good things. Always give reasoning that goes with your feedback so that they understand what they are not doing or what it needs to be done. And let go of your ego, because you can't do everything by yourself. again, when you realize that, that sets you free as well.
No, that's so true. And like teamwork is so empowering because you get to leverage other people's skill sets, your own.
Mhm,
And it's this fusion of this ideas and all this creativity that really makes like a project like truly shine and feel so special. And I think that's so true. Like you have to point out what someone's doing well, as well
mhm,
as pointing out what they need to improve on. And the
mhm.
reasoning is definitely essential because if they don't understand what's in their brain, they only have their life experiences, their thought process.
Exactly.
They need that in order to get to like maybe the destination that you're thinking of that could push it forward. And then the
Mhm,
other contrast is like they can push back on you and have an idea that is maybe even slightly better or radically better for the project and you couldn't see it and then you put your
mhm.
ideas together and it's amazing.
Exactly. I'm so happy that you brought this up. First of all, especially when we're working internationally, you are working with people that come from completely different backgrounds, completely different experiences, completely different cultures. So you need to be open and you need to be empathetic and you need to be able to put yourself in their shoes. And to your second point, I mean, I absolutely love confrontation and I love debates. This is where the magic happens, listening to different opinions, different ideas than mine, because this is when truly innovation happens. So I absolutely love this process and I seek it. I always ask people, what would we could we do differently? What's your idea? I mean, I always come up with a plan because as a creative director, you need to have a plan to start working on, but I'm always asking for other people's input and other people's ideas.
And does that go beyond just say if you're leading a team? Are you like fully collaborating with like an individual client? Like if it's like a one-on-one relationship or they have a team of three, you know, insert however many people that they have on their team. But are you looking for that same push and pull and debate in that process?
Absolutely. I'm always seeing the client as part of the team. I don't see them on the other side of the table. We all have a common goal, what's best for the project. And I always say that no one knows their business better than them.
Mm.
So their feedback, their input for me is gold. I always try, I always seek it. I'm always trying to get it, even though when they're not used to giving it, I'm always trying to get it from them. And it involves them, involved in the project. I mean, it takes the project into a completely different level.
Yeah, I agree. I found that in my own experience too. It's just like it's foolish to see them as adversarial. You need their knowledge because it's kind of an
Mhm.
egotistical thing to think that we would know more about their business.
Absolutely. Yeah, that's exactly it.
Yeah, I know nothing about like the AI business that you're building. I can't code. I can only think about storytelling and design and
Yes.
through the lens of my own life experience. Like, God forbid I like try and pretend to be you or your audience. I have to learn both of them.
Absolutely, and what fascinates me is in every project that I have to deep dive and learn about what they do, and how they do it. And this is what I love in our job, and this is why I love being independent or working in agencies and not working for a big tech company, for example, working on a product. And I'm also a product designer, so I love the variety of projects within the year because I have to learn from scratch
Mm.
new things. But yeah, we definitely need them by our side. We definitely need them to be part of our teams, and not see them as the enemy. Say no.
This is maybe a hard pivot, but it goes back to another point that we were talking about and this desire to travel and this international dream. Do you find that working with international clients scratches that itch and that you're able to, uh, or have at this point in your career, achieve that ability to work internationally and to have that flexibility of travel? And if yes,
Mhm.
how has that influenced you and your perspective as a designer?
Oh, I absolutely love that question. Well, I've been working remotely since 2016, I think.
Mm.
And I've been working from my own room in Thessaloniki. Everything I've done it from my own. And I had people asking me, like, doesn't this suffocate you, like being in your room, like not being, able to go outside and stuff? And I was like, what the hell are you talking about? I mean, every day I'm talking with Dubai, with UK, with France, with the US, like every day, different cultures, different people, different, everything different. I've been living in my own bubble for a while, but it was a bubble that I was really enjoying. It really opened up my horizons. It really fulfilled me on a very big level. But then COVID came, and at that point, at my beginning as a remote worker, I didn't travel that much. I didn't have the budget to travel that much. And then COVID happened, and we didn't have the ability to travel. So that was strange. But for me, I have to say, I do believe that COVID brought a lot of pain and a lot of change, but it brought a lot of opportunities as well. A lot of opportunities, and for me, it found me ready for this new thing called remote. So that was the moment that my career exploded, to be honest. And from then on, coming back after COVID and having a difficult experience myself with COVID, like went through some tough times. I said, I'm going to leave it. I'm going to live to the full because you don't know what happens the next day. So that's when I really started traveling as much as I can. And my work facilitated that. And I started working with bigger and bigger clients, bigger and bigger agencies. So there was a need to travel as well. So at that end, I have to say that my international dreams, I never believed that I would fulfill them at that level. I have certainly exceeded them, but sky's the limit. Like I'm currently, it's the first time in my life that I'm thinking of relocating as well. I don't know if I'm going to do it because I've been through the tough stuff here in Greece. I've supported my country when it was tough. Now that things are easier, I feel that I can let go, but I don't know if I want to now. But anyways, a lot is happening in my head. But I'm surely looking at opportunities, especially London or Dubai.
Oh, London or Dubai. Okay, yeah. That's very cool. I haven't been to London, haven't been to Dubai. I need to do some more traveling, and that's like a goal for life in general. But let's take a minute to dive into that.
Okay.
We'll go back to, you said that during COVID your career exploded. Maybe you can expand on that. But what about London and what about Dubai do you find particularly interesting and appealing?
I just came back from 2 weeks in the UK. The thing is, these two places are specific to me because I have experience there. I've been working 1 year with Dubai remotely and almost 1 year remotely with Unit9, which is based in London. So I have a big network in both cities and I have a lot of friends there. So a lot of friends. So I was thinking that if I go to a new place, I need to start from somewhere. But apart from that, what I find appealing in both places, first of all, London is the center, I won't say of the world, I would say of Europe. Okay, all innovation happens in London. All innovation happens in London. Everything that is related to tech and innovation is happening in London and only in London. It's a city that inspires you in so many ways. It has this industrial aesthetic, it has this futuristic aesthetic, it has this imperial aesthetic, architectural-wise. Everything is happening from an art perspective. I was there for a week and I saw 3 mind-blowing exhibitions that you can't see anywhere else. From music as well, because music is a huge part of my life as well. Again, everything is happening in London every day. From a culinary perspective, again, I'm in love with food. I'm a foodie. I'm in love with everything that stimulates my senses in every way. So music, food, art. So for me, London is paradise. And very, very interesting people, at least, the people that I've met so far. So this is what really attracts me in London. And of course, it's in Europe. It's close to where I am. So proximity to my family and everything. But yeah, London is mind-blowingly inspiring. It's completely different from Dubai.
Yeah, I was going to say, I think so. One is on an island that is relatively big
Yes.
for an island standard, and then one is in the desert.
Exactly. So I have to say, I haven't physically been to Dubai yet, but I'm planning to do a week in early February. Just like I did a week in London, I networked, I met some people, I did some meetings, and I plan to do the same in Dubai. The thing in Dubai is, even though it was a remote job, I've made some such true friends. I can't even explain it, like the bonding and the connection that I felt with those people. Like real friends, even though we've never met. So I'm very, very excited to go and meet them, first of all. And the thing with Dubai is I think that the climate is going to make it a bit difficult for me, but we have to see. I mean, I can't even stand the heat of Greece in the summer, and Dubai is like, yeah, going into the desert. But apart from that, what really draws me to Dubai, everything that has to do with the future is happening there.
Mm,
Everything that happens, like in Saudi Arabia, they are building the city of the future. It's called Neom. I don't know if you've heard of it, if you've seen the 3Ds and everything. If you see the renderings, they're practically building the city of the future, like cars flying and everything. Outrageous structures. So it's really inspiring what's happening there. Everything that has to do with immersive tech and immersive entertainment, they have big immersive tech entertainment parts. So VR, AR, like all these technologies, they have the budget and they have the appetite and they have the energy, and they want to be at the forefront of the future. So
okay.
this is what really draws me to Dubai. So if you think about it in a way, Dubai has the money for it, but the tech comes from the UK. Like everything is happening, like all the big immersive agencies are in London. So
Yeah.
this is the connection between the two, and this is why I'm drawn to both of them.
I can see why you're torn, because it seems like a connection and a through line is the focus on technology and innovation and how it inspires you. So maybe we'll go back to why COVID exploded your career briefly, and then we can just pivot into immersive technology and kind of the future of technology.
Amazing. So COVID. Up until then, I've had the luck to be working with a lot of influential individuals in the design space, as you mentioned before. Dot Lang, Matthias Correa, he's the co-founder of Behance, Grant Seagal, he's a huge influencer in Webflow, and a lot more beautiful people and beautiful startups like this. But I have to say, being always the lead of my team and being the budgets were a little bit restricted. I'm not saying that. I mean, I'm super grateful for every single person that trusted me with their money and with their time and with their project. But I felt like I have reached my top level. I wanted to go somewhere that I wouldn't be the smartest person in the room, if I could put it that way. I wanted to work with people that were more talented than me, and I wanted to work on bigger projects. But before COVID, remote wasn't a thing. So agencies weren't working with freelancers. Just before COVID, I have released my second personal branding project, the one that is now online, the Black website, which in all honesty, it was designed right after I came back from Geek Festival. So I said, I want to get into this industry. So that was my goal. I wanted to attract agencies like this. When I was filling out my creative brief, when I had to define my target audience, there were two names on it, The Mill and Unit 9. I swear, like those two names. And 3 years afterwards, Unit 9 approached me. Like, what the fuck? I had nothing practical to show. I had no case studies, but they approached me because of my branding. So I said, okay, at least that I do well. But this project, it has a lot of thinking behind it. It was the first project that I experimented with more immersive tech. It was my first WebGL project. It was the first project that I did custom sound. I mean, all of the things that I wanted to experiment with, and I didn't have the opportunity to do it in my everyday workflow. I always did it on myself. I always used my branding as my branding and website as a platform to experiment. So that project brought even more awards from the Dotland project. It made an even bigger bang, and it brought a lot of attention towards my way. It brought the attention of awards, of course. I'm super grateful. Awards gave me the opportunity to shine and to, I mean, public speaking was also a big goal of mine, and something that I worked towards for many years. Awards were the first ones that gave me a platform to speak. And through awards and through my website, the collaboration with Superhero Cheesecake came, and then the Tour Studio, and then the Dubai collaboration, and then Unit 9. So this is what COVID opened up for me, opportunities to work with big agencies, which was a dream of mine, but I have left that dream behind because I said, okay, I'm going to stay in Greece, I'm going to stay with my partner who wasn't willing to move, and I'm going to try to make the best of it. And COVID gave me the opportunity to do it.
Well, that is like a beautiful takeaway from that. And it sounds like you're using the idea of a portfolio as more than just a portfolio itself, but just like almost like a piece of branding, an experimental project that you can do anything with in order to attract your dream clients or dream agencies or a network of people that are like-minded. Is there anything else about your portfolio that you designed with a specific intention so that you could attract people like Unit 9 or I forget the other name that you had mentioned? Yeah.
The meal.
Oh, the meal.
So yeah, that was the goal back in 2019. Now the goals have changed. So yeah, I've always used my personal portfolio, as I said, as a platform to experiment with new tech and to attract new clients. And this is what I'm doing to attract the clients that I want and the people that I want to interact with. My friend at Lang, she always says that your vibe attracts your tribe. This is exactly what I'm trying to do. I'm trying to create a vibe. I know that, for example, with my current portfolio, it's really difficult to read some stuff. I know that it has some UX problems, but this was my intention. I wanted to create this ambience, this darkness, and to communicate this future forward aspect of me and this dark and white side, because I truly believe that in order to I'm very inspired by bright futuristic environments, like white futuristic environments, but I believe in order to get there, we need to go through darkness, like literally through space and metaphorically as well, like as humanity. So this time I'm currently redesigning my portfolio, and I'm using new tech to do it. You might have seen already that I've been working on a digital double. She's Sophie. I've been working that for a while. For a couple of years now, I wanted to explore if I could be anyone else in the virtual realm. So what would I be? What would I change? And if I change those things, why would I change them? Am I not fulfilling my triple potential in my real life? So this kind of exploration, but again, the tech, I wanted to explore the tech. So at first I tried photogrammetry, so I photoshootted myself 360. But we came up with a very, very photorealistic result that was hideous, that we threw away. Then we tried Unreal Metahumans, which is, if you are in the immersive space, it's something pretty basic. I mean, everyone can do it. It's like an image bank. Think of it as an image bank. It's not an image bank, but it's something that very mainstream that everyone can have it. So we did that away as well. I experimented with AI back like a year back, which was a completely different level. But anyway, through this exploration, there was a lot of learning. And now I'm coming back with Sophie. We did it in Cinema 4D with an amazing 3D designer and friend, because I wanted that uniqueness that Unreal Metahuman couldn't give me. I wanted to work with an artist because I truly, truly believe in collaboration, and I love working with artists. As I said, I don't consider myself to be an artist, but I love working with people that their brain thinks differently. To me, this is an artist, and I know this guy since forever, and I know that his brain works differently. So anyways, we came up with Sophie, which is going to play a huge pivotal role in my new website. I'm training here to speak like me and to sound like me. So, at first I was super skeptical about AI. I was on the other side of the fence. I'm still on the skeptical side. Like, I'm not a huge fan. That's a big topic. But you know what? At some point I decided that you're either gonna live, you're gonna be opposite everything, and you're gonna live up in the woods, or you're gonna get inside of this thing and you see how you can influence it in some way. What we said at the beginning, like everything around us has been designed by someone else for us. So I truly believe that being inside immersive tech, in the immersive tech space, I do have like a little piece that I can influence. So this is my goal. This became my mission. I'm just jumping from topic to topic because I'm really excited.
Yeah.
With the
No,
future of AI.
it seems like Sophie, like your portfolio, just gave you a platform or a project to kind of experiment and play. And that's what I'm seeing as a through line is like, you like to have some sort of thing that you can own so that you can kind of play with new technologies, experiment. And it's outside of like, let's say like a client project where there may be stakeholders or budgets and like not room for error, but this is kind of experimentation so that you can learn and grow and maybe even use these tools and technologies on future projects.
So there was this great guy that asked me, like, your portfolio is amazing, I really love it, but I always had this question, like, why don't you have case studies on your portfolio, like the current one? And it's exactly what you said. I mean, I'm the kind of designer that I don't design for my portfolio, and I don't say that as a negative. I mean, there are people that do incredible work and that have a specific style and they're asked for it. And I'm very like I have huge admiration and respect for them, but I'm not this kind of designer. So all of my projects are very different. I always design for the best of the project. All of my projects are very different, and for better or worse, they're not the kind of projects that I really want to work on. Like if you ask me now, what kind of projects would you like to work on? It would be like brands that have innovation at their core. So it would be big tech brands. I work with Google and Meta at Unit now. So these kind of brands, or it would be fashion. Because they have innovation at their core and they're very willing to experiment with new tech and very forward-thinking stuff. So I'm always using my own website as my portfolio. I want this to be the biggest demonstration of what I can do, of what I want to be doing. So once more, I did it once with my portfolio and I achieved my goals. I had some specific goals that I achieved, and I'm doing it again with my new one. I really want to push boundaries even more. But on this one, I am including my case studies. I'm very proud of my work. It's not that I'm not proud of my work, but I experimented with that aspect in my first one. So now I want to try different things. I'm always, as you said, experimenting and trying different things.
Yeah, always be growing, always be learning. And I love what you said where vibe attracts tribe. That's so true, because like people will come to the website and there's like an immediate gut reaction. Is this for me or is this not for me? So like if the vibe is right, they'll stay. And the thing is, some people will consider a person leaving as a bad thing, where I think it's actually like a positive. Because if you're not a product that's trying to be for everyone, and I don't even think you should be a product that's trying to be for everyone, you should know your audience. If you're not the audience, then you should leave. It's not for you. So I think it's a beautiful thing. Let's make work that is polarizing with intention and attracts the right vibe for the right tribe.
Exactly. I mean, if you're trying to reach everyone, you reach no one.
Preach.
Yes.
This is a side note. You had mentioned fashion because they're innovative in that space and want to use immersive technology. If you're watching the video podcast, every single person that walks by is more fashionable than me or anyone in this town. And I'm just like, damn, I need to go shopping with Sofia or have like the Greeks teach me how to dress myself.
You look great. You look great.
Oh, thank you. But since we're on the topic of innovation, I'm curious, what was the first piece of technology that got you truly inspired and made you interested in technology? And that could be anything from your childhood up into like VR and AR.
Like, honestly, I was never a gamer. I was never a gamer. And that's pretty strange because in the immersive industry as it is now, like, I don't know, 90% are gamers. And this needs to change. This is what I've been talking about before. This mentality needs to change. Immersive tech is not just gaming. Designers, like visual designers, art lovers, advertisers, marketing people are going to get into this industry and they're going to change it. And we are going to come up with a new type of marketing and communicating and branding. This is what I'm so excited for. This is why I want to bring my expertise into immersive tech. So honestly, the moment that I fell in love with tech was 2017. Like, I'm a very late bloomer. Like I've always been into more traditional types of art. And I mean, yes, digital design, of course, but immersive tech, like AR, VR, I was introduced in 2017 and I was mind blown. And the first piece of technology I got my hands on, because when I came back from Keek, there was this generative coding seminar in my town. I had no idea what that was, but I felt that it had something to do with what I've seen. So I went and did processing, which is generative code, and I fell in love with it. We did get that straight, that I cannot code. My mind cannot think in math, cannot think in geometry. I'm very theoretical. I'm like very out there, but I understood what the tech does and how can be creative with it, and that was the point. So that was the first piece that got me, the first tech that got me very excited. Then I worked with Touch Designer a little bit, which is a no-code tool. It's a node tool, which is, again, difficult for me, but again, it gave me the opportunity to think in generative ways. And then I got my hands on AR. I think that the future is in AR. I'm fascinated by VR. I'm fascinated by VR because you can get completely lost in imaginative worlds. It's the perfect tool for escapism and for many other things. I mean, I've used it to collaborate remotely, and we've been working in Dubai, and I was like in the same room with someone from the UK and someone from Ukraine, and it was incredible. It felt amazing. It was literally like you're there in the same room. So I'm in love with VR in so many ways, but I do believe that the future is in AR and in mixed reality, because it's the intermediate step. It's the intermediate step between where we are now and where we will be. And especially with AR, I mean, it's accessible from your phone, and everyone has a smartphone, so it's very easy. It almost feels natural. It feels like an extension of where we are now. And it's also like the easiest tech to experiment with if you're not a super tech savvy person. But from all the tech that's out there, I think that, it might seem overwhelming. You don't know where to start. So many things are happening. Every week something else comes. And I've been saying that, like you're getting panic attacks every 2 weeks, and it's impossible to keep up. I can't keep up, people. I can't keep up. And I'm into this, like I've been looking into this for years. But anyways, from all the tech out there, I think that I'm mostly drawn into AR and VR. And when I say AR and VR, mixed reality is part of it as well. But I'm all about the future of interfaces. And this is what my talk on, from print to screens and from screens to 3 dimensions. I do believe that, as a visual designer, I do believe that it's just the canvas that is changing. We go from print, from paper, I went to the screens, and now I see, 3-dimensional space as my canvas. And that's very, very exciting for me.
I have a quote here from one of your talks, and I think it was from Print to Screens, where and it's a quote from Sally Reynolds.
Yes.
With virtual reality, you can get lost into the imagination of others. And I thought that was a very inspiring quote, because I'm by no means a Luddite, but I am very behind on technology. I am very much like a grit and craft and like grow your own abilities and just collaborate with humans type of person. And
Hmm.
I think at some point I'll have to make a switch to thinking about like tools or products or these technologies as team members in some way. But
Hmm.
I thought that quote opened my mind to the reality, but also connecting that to how you talked about just like three dimensions being your canvas. I think that's a really cool and inspiring way to think of it because I
Hmm.
mean, if you can design for the screen now, you can probably design for a three-dimensional space as long as you're being creative and you're thinking about it with this imagination to it.
Hmm. Exactly, exactly. This is why virtual reality excites me that much. And this quote by Sally Reynolds, it just, as I said in my talk, it's seductive. Like you can get into the mind of someone else. Like you can
Mm,
really build um, unimaginable experiences, like unimaginable places. Like laws of physics don't apply. You
mm,
you you don't limit yourself. You don't. That this is the advantage of the technology. This is the advantage of VR. That laws of physics don't apply. Geography doesn't apply. Um, yeah, it's fascinating just thinking about it. The potential, the
yeah.
possibilities, it's endless. I mean, aesthetics, we do need, like, the technology is not yet there, but aesthetics is an issue with VR, but I think that we're going to get there. I'm all about photorealistic environments with a dose of surrealism. Like, that's the absolute perfection to me. And right now, things are a little bit more low poly, if I could put it like this.
Gotcha.
So that's why it's not super attractive to a lot, to a big, to a lot of people just yet.
Yeah. It seems like AR is like the more accessible option because if it is
Mm-hmm.
connected to like a phone in a lot of regards, a lot of people have phones. It's
Mm-hmm.
something that I guess like by our modern standards you kind of have to have. And it
Mm-hmm.
most phones are smart at this point unless you're
Yeah,
intentionally choosing to use like a Nokia flip phone. But
yeah,
but
for
um
sure.
yeah, I guess like what would you say are the most exciting future facing applications of AR and VR that you've personally have been thinking about?
Exciting applications. We're
Yeah.
getting there. We're getting there. I can't say that, I've experienced something that is mind blowing right now.
Mm.
I can tell you that I've been using VR, for example, to work out, and it has been so fun. I didn't expect that. I've been using VR, as I said, to meet people and to collaborate with people. So I've been using it doing more functional things.
Mm.
There were a couple of experiences that were super beautiful and very inspiring, but I haven't experienced something so far that I say like what I have in my mind for the potential of VR. When it comes to AR as well, again, I've seen a beautiful application that has no utility at all. It was like a poster application or something, but it was so beautiful. And I can't remember the organization, but um, it was the first thing that I saw that really spoke to what I was speaking about before, like the
Mm.
intersection of design. I saw something aesthetically amazing in AR. And
Mm.
that's rare. That's rare because the immersive tech space is dominated by this game aesthetics that I was talking about before.
Yeah.
So people like us are needed to change that.
Hmm.
So that's where I see myself.
Do you think that, like you had mentioned before, just because it's kind of coming from people that may have come from the game world and they just need
Mhm.
the influence of others and different people's perspectives? Or do you think that it's just limited by certain technology at the moment and eventually that'll expand as things start to change and shift and get better?
Mhm. It's both. It's
Okay.
exactly those both of these things.
Because eventually it seems like we'll probably get to a point where it's like in a wearable or glasses or some
Mhm,
sort of
mhm,
thing like contact lenses, which kind of sounds
mhm.
futuristic and may scare some people, but like It's probably
It's
cool.
happening. It's happening. It's happening. The technology is already there. The glasses are getting lighter and lighter. There's either like the technology is already there for contact lenses as well, but it's not commercial yet. So it's not futuristic. I don't want to scare anyone, but it's happening. It's already happening.
Yeah, the future is now.
The future is now. This is that's the motto of today's discussion. The future is now, and I've seen it on a wall in London. The future is hot. Like this is even better. The future is now, and it's hot. We're even moving towards, like, if we go beyond that, we're even moving towards a screenless kind of future of interaction. We've seen the launch of the AI pin of Humane, which you just talk to her. So we're moving towards a voice user interface as well. Dominated future. Yeah. This is kind of scary as well, a little bit, but these things are happening. And I think, as I said in the beginning, I think that we as designers, we have the power to influence them. We have the power to influence this brand new world. I don't want to sound too idealistic or anything, but I think that we can make a difference. Like, this is a future that we're building with our own hands. So I do believe we can make a difference. This is why I want to be part of it.
As designers who have the ability to influence these things, should we be thinking about certain responsibilities that we have in order to kind of go into the board meetings, to go into our everyday jobs and influence things positively in the right direction? What is our role as designers and our responsibility in this case?
First of all, one of my biggest values is ethics. I'm all about, I love reading psychology books, and I don't do that to manipulate people. I do that, like, I see a lot of people, and all people in advertising, they're into psychology, that's this behavioral economics kind of stuff that really, that show you what you can use in your advantage to sell. And this is definitely not what I'm going to be doing. I'm into this stuff because I want to understand people and I want to provide them with better experiences. I don't see myself as a designer, as a problem solver. I hate that word for design. I'm sorry, but I don't see design. I don't see it as a problem. I'm all about the experiences, and this is where I see myself fitting in. I see my mission. I want to build beautiful, memorable experiences that make people's lives better, in a way more enjoyable. There's not just the functional aspect of things. We do need moments of escapism. We do need moments, brands can make a real difference by communicating values that are right for society. Because people, another thing that I keep saying is that people don't connect to brands per se. They connect to the values, the morals, the lifestyles that represent. So we are working with these brands. We are building these experiences. We are communicating these messages. It's on our hands to do this right, and to help the clients, if it is their purpose, of course. I mean, you have to work with people that you're aligned with. But when it comes to the ethical aspect, I think we can make a difference as much as we can. We can't change the world, but we can certainly influence it at some point.
Yeah, and this got me thinking about kind of the beginning, early phases of Web3 when we saw NFTs and the influence of, like, the celebrities and the millionaires and this cultivation of hype in order to kind of boost the price of a product, and then not fulfilling promises of that product or that project. So I'm curious your thoughts on Web3 at the moment, and what are the exciting opportunities within Web3?
The thing is that, I am into immersive tech and everything, but the Web3 idea is a little bit utopian to me. I'm not convinced. I'm not convinced about the idea of decentralization and that this can work, and that this can work in a way that it can work without destroying the environment even further. And obviously, there's a lot more education for me. Like, I'm trying to educate myself on so many things. I'm trying to educate myself on AI so that I'm not so negative. I'm trying to educate myself And NFTs have been negative from the get-go. Like, I can't understand why we want to destroy the planet earlier. Like, it's like a mission to destroy it. The planet is going to self-destroy at some point, but we want to do it now. I just, I don't know. Maybe I'm a little bit old-fashioned. Like, I'm future forward, but at some points maybe I'm a little bit old-fashioned. I don't know. I'm trying not to be negative, but yeah, Web3. I'm all about using immersive tech and about the connectivity of things and about this mixed reality, connecting, merging the physical with the digital, and the overlay of interfaces and all this stuff.
Yeah.
But I'm not into the NFT Web3 decentralized kind of bullshit.
I'm so glad that we're on the same page, because from day one, I'm just like, why the fuck do you want?
Yeah. Yeah. I know that this can hurt my career, but I'm just yeah, I'm not into that.
It's like, find a different way to make money than buying every computer and running them all day long and burning through electricity and like just like weird bullshit ways to make blockchain money. But that's a different story.
I know. Maybe we're wrong and they are right. I don't know.
Yeah, little did we know. But I guess like history will tell. There's this idea that you can learn from the past, but history is a bunch of modern day things that compound on top of each other to make decisions that'll affect us in the future. So it's a little bit hard to even predict based on past models. So if this becomes a thing where it is the new form of currency and we can figure out a way to make that work, so be it. But for now, you know what? Money is money. Money's always been a thing.
Exactly.
I guess it's like rooted in that idea that money is always a thing. We'll always have to exchange either goods or services. So whatever that form is, we'll see.
Exactly. We'll wait for it. I'll wait for it.
Yeah, exactly. I think that's the other thing. Like, people are always trying to be on top of the newest thing. And I think that there's value in just like trying to understand its possibilities, its limitations, how you can adapt to it. Does this fit my life as an individual? Or is this something that maybe down the road could be applicable? And that's valuable just to wait. Like, if that's for you, it's for you.
Absolutely.
I don't know what to think about AI in its form at the moment. I guess like I'll say, from a perspective of the visual side, I don't understand, but I love it from the perspective of like, I use it for tools that helps me write. So like, I use Grammarly to fix my awful English grammar. And it provides like, I can copy sections and like ask the AI to like rewrite it or to rephrase it. And I end up like rephrasing it and then rewriting it again, but it helps me to like fix grammar or to generate ideas. I think from the perspective of AI as like tool sets that are built into other tools, like helping you to generate things quickly, I think is beautiful. But like from the perspective of like auto-generating music and auto-generating images, like for me, it's at a point where it's just like not exciting. The visuals aren't interesting enough. The music just sounds like everything else. But I think that if we do get to a point where it's unrecognizable and it's just chopping up bits and looking like, if I can type in like, make this image in this style and it's almost indistinguishable, I think that just takes like the heart and soul out of it. Now we have to think of ourselves as kind of almost evolving what we do as creatives in order to make our stand in like the future, if you will.
I just believe it's not about the tool, it's the way you use it. And of course, with every new thing, with every new tool, with every new evolution or revolution, there comes fear, there comes excitement, and there comes the bad use and the good use of it. When it comes to generative images, for example, and you asked me before about our roles as designers and about how we shape these roles and about the ethical standpoint. I mean, I have a lot of questions. I tried not to be negative. I tried not to be negative. Like, as I said before, I don't consider myself to be an artist, but I have true respect for artists, and I absolutely love working with them. And I'm just I'll not say that I'm taking sides, but at some point I just can't understand how you can call yourself an artist by, just using this tool. I mean, even if you take it from a law perspective, law, if you would see it, like, law would say that in order for something, I mean, who is the author? Who has the copyright of the image that you generated?
Yeah.
Exactly. And there are a lot of debates in courts around the world right now. I think that the only court that has made a decision is the US court, and it has decided that you can be the author because there's not enough input from I mean, in order for an output, for an artistic output, whether it's text or music or visual, in order for it to be owned by someone, it needs to be created, first of all, by a human being, or there needs to be enough intellectual input by a human being. So there is this debate about whether these images, who do they belong to?
Yeah.
And US court decided that they don't belong to anyone because there's not enough, because prompts cannot be considered enough intellectual effort and input in order to be considered. So I have an issue by people calling themselves artists just because they use Midjourney. I have an issue with that. And then I had this super interesting conversation with Burton Ross. He's an amazing designer, like ex-Google, ex-IDEO. I had the luck to meet him in London. And we had this conversation, like, I'm so biased towards, what is happening towards our space, like the visual aspect and use of AI. But I was judging the Canadian Advertising and Design Awards last year. And there was this project that I gave it a gold. And I fought with all my heart for it. So there was this campaign called Lost Tapes of the 27. And it was by an organization in order to create awareness around mental health in the music industry. So they created new songs from, first of all, it's called Lost Tapes of the 27 because it took patterns from artists that have committed suicide at the 27, like Kurt Cobain, like Jimi Hendrix, like Amy Winehouse. And they use artificial intelligence to create patterns of their writing and of their music making. And they created new songs. And they named it somehow, what it could have been, if they were alive, what music they would create. And, Kurt Cobain, for me, it was like, as I said, like, I have a huge relationship with music, and Kurt Cobain was my idol when I was a teenager. So it meant a lot. It meant a lot to me. Like, I could really relate with him. I was super fan. And then when I heard this song, I almost cried. Like, I had tears in my eyes. Like, oh my God, it's really Kurt. So at that moment, I wasn't thinking like that. I wasn't thinking like I was thinking about, the rights of the 3D artists that their work is stolen. Like, I was like, oh my God, mind blown. And I'm giving this a goal, and we need to give this a goal, and it's creativity boosted and stuff like that. And then I was reading this, and this friend of mine said that it's very inspiring project, but the thing is that they don't have a say in it. Like, Kurt doesn't have a say in it. And then I was reading this letter this article from Nick Cave. So there was this fan that wrote to him, and he said, I used ChatGPT to write a song in the Nick Cave style. And do you like it? And Nick Cave was like, this is bullshit. Like, this is awful. And this is offensive. And, art and really, like, innovation and songs, and songwriting and art, it really comes from human experience and human pain or human happiness. I don't want to romanticize pain. Like, me as a creator, like, I'm not being creative when I'm in pain. I want to be happy. But either way, when it comes to creative output, it comes from a place of an emotional state, which AI doesn't have. So there are a lot of questions in my head. On one side, I've seen so many projects, and I'm using AI myself. Like, I was so on the other fence, and now I'm just creating a model. I fed her with all of my writings, all of my speakings, everything, because I said, you know what? Everything is on my social media account. So anyone that wants to train a model to speak like me can do it. So I'm going to do it myself.
Yeah.
I'm going to do it myself, and I'm going to test it, and I'm going to test because I've built a strong personal brand name, and I want to see if people can relate with her as much as they related to me. I
Mhm.
want to see what kind of things they're going to ask. Are they going to be offensive? And I'm prepared to take her down after a couple of days if I see that things go, are great. But I'm really curious about human nature. I'm curious about why I think this way. Why it's like you said. I mean, it's a matter of being patient, of constantly educating ourselves, just not try to keep our minds and our ears and our eyes open to things. But at the same time, it's good to be a little bit skeptical and not just dive into it. And because this mass production, this sacrifice that we're making in the sake of time, it's definitely gonna strike back at us. We're
Yeah.
definitely gonna lose on the quality. We're definitely gonna lose on the meaning. Um, we're definitely gonna lose on a lot of quality aspects, which are way more important to me than time. To
Yeah.
me, I know that it's not the same for companies and businesses.
Yeah, for sure. And I think like one specific point that you had mentioned, you had said like Kurt doesn't have a say in it, like Nick Cave didn't have a say in that. And like
Nick Cave had a say in that. Nick
oh
Cave
yeah,
had a say in that, and he said this is bullshit.
yeah,
You know,
exactly. So actually gave a perspective. And
yes,
and it's funny because it's like you can only kind of generate with what's out there. You can't ever kind of go to like where they're going next because only a kind of human can adapt in that way. So if Kurt Cobain was alive today and still making music, I doubt it would sound exactly like grunge music from the 90s.
for
It would
sure,
be,
for sure.
yeah, like it could be something completely different and it could have changed the music industry forever. But I think that you know, a language model or something of that can only work with what exists.
Yes,
So
yeah,
you can't
yeah.
ever create something that's 100% new or genre bending in that way. So I think from that perspective, it's like it will always be limited. And that's where human beings and emotions come really, really into the equation of creating something that can be infused with so many different things and turn into something new.
This is the hope. This is the
Yeah.
hope that we're
This
gonna
is
be able to keep that.
Yeah, exactly. I guess to go back to music, how has music been an essential part of your life? And has there been like an evolution of your kind of music love? You had said that when you were a kid, and kid is relative,
Yeah.
Kurt Cobain was an idol and kind of like a safety net for you, emotionally, if you will. But what is the evolution of your love of music been?
My relationship with music started when I was about 10. Like
Mm.
the first time that my parents gave me money as a present to go buy my own present, I went and bought Michael Jackson's Thriller vinyl.
Oh, nice.
That was the first one. Then around the age of 12, I discovered grunge and Kurt Cobain, and this kind of completely changed. Like I could definitely relate. Like I fell in love with grunge. It definitely evolved with years. I spent a couple of years in grunge, then I went into metal a little bit, then I went into post-rock. So these were my adolescent years, my dark years, my pessimistic years, like the bit of depression. You know how that goes.
Oh, yeah.
And then I moved to indie alternative British rock.
Mm.
That was about 16. And then at about 17, I met electronic music, which changed my life forever. It was, I felt happy again. I felt, I had the right to be happy. And I had that right to be myself, with electronic music. I was a raver and a clubber for many, many years. But even though within my decades of raving and clubbing, my music tastes evolved as I evolved, as music evolved. I went from progressive house to techno to trance, and then back to progressive house. House has always been my basis. And at some point, the whole industry made like there was like a bit of a low
Yeah.
season, and then it was I went into new jazz and new funk and disco, and then back to house. And anyways, my relationship with music, I see that every stage of my life it had a different soundtrack, for sure.
Mm.
I've always said that, like, if I wasn't into the design industry, I would definitely be in the music industry, but not as a talent. As I said before, like I was never a huge talent myself. Like, as a designer as well, I always had a great eye for design. I always had a great ear for music. I always had a great taste. Like, people tell me you should be a food critic. But this is why I believe that I'm an even better art director than I am a designer. And if I wasn't into the design industry, I would definitely be into music as in a managerial kind of role. Because it is a competitive space. It's a very creative space. It's definitely right down my alley. I absolutely love defending the artists, like defending the rights of the artists, as I do now. I don't know if you've seen Vinyl. It's an amazing series produced by Martin Scorsese and Mick Jagger.
Oh, the one on HBO.
Yeah. It was just, oh my God, who cut that season? Who cut this? Like, this series was one of the best series ever made, and they only made one season. Like, if you've seen that series, like, Ritzy Finestra is my idol, and everyone that has seen it, like, don't take this the wrong way. He's a little bit intense, but yeah. Anyways, I mean, it's definitely where I would see myself in the music industry. So.
Nice.
Music influences my work on an everyday basis. It influences my emotions. It can change my emotions like that, and my moods. And yeah, it's definitely a big part of my life.
What soundtrack are we in right now as we're kind of entering 2024 at the time of this recording?
Okay, so right now I'm in love with indie. It's a mix of genres. As I said, music is evolving, and right now we see a mix of genres. As I said, a mix of different disciplines in our industry as well. So I'm really into indie dance, indie house dance.
Okay.
It's a Northern European kind of thing.
So what would be some examples of some musicians? Or bands, whatever the title would be.
Yes. So Kraken's Mark is one. It's not a duo. It's three DJs. It's some of the artists that I've been following, and that they have been evolving as music evolves. Oh my God, I keep forgetting. Like, there's so many names in my head right now. Give me a moment. Like, I have to check my Spotify.
That's okay. I've also noticed that, like, the electronic music scene is just like exponentially greater in Europe than it is in the United States. And obviously there's pockets of it within the United States, but it's just not nearly as like prolific or prominent. So like in the conversation with Dust and him saying like he was a drum and bass MC, I was just like, it's like I've never even had the opportunity to listen to like drum and bass music.
Okay. I never liked this. It was, yeah, I never liked drum and bass. So yeah, I respect it. I respect it. But yeah, this kind of genre that I'm talking about is definitely European. Jean Panic, Warner Case, like this kind of artists, beautiful music, beautiful fresh music. It's Fred again and again. There are a lot of fresh names coming out. I see like a revival into electronic, like a very fresh breath.
You had mentioned that like there's this focus on taste, and I don't mean physical, like the sense of taste, but kind of this evolution of you growing your sense of taste. So that could be like your ear for music, your eye for design, why you're a great art director, creative director. How does one cultivate their level of taste so that they can move into this role of like a director or something of that? Is it tied to kind of experiencing the world and being kind of familiar with a lot of different things?
100%. I truly believe like that's a totally personal standpoint. Okay, like that, this is how I operate, but I do believe that especially after a certain age, your true personality and who you are as a person and your experiences and what are the things that you do outside of work all those things come into your work without understanding it, and they make your work more interesting, and they make your work more relevant.
Yeah.
You need to be aware of what's happening in the world from a societal perspective, like from an art perspective. You need to be able to immerse yourself into different kinds of arts, into fashion. As I said, I think food is art as well, music. Because in order to be truly innovative, in order to be able to create beautiful and great work, you need to be looking outside design, for sure. Like, that's the last thing that you should be looking at. Immerse yourself immerse yourself into art every chance you get. This is what I'm always saying, and art in every possible way.
Yeah, in all sorts of different genres, if you will. So like physical
Mhm.
art, musical art, dance.
Architecture,
Yeah.
fashion, dance, so many films, photography. There's so much beauty out there.
It's a shame to not live life in a way to kind of truly soak that up and get to experience it.
100%. Just get out of the screen. Just get out of your screen. I mean, because we learned through COVID that things might change like that. So make the most out of it every day, as much as you can.
So I'm very curious, your transition into education, and that's not a full transition. This is just a part or a portion of what you're doing now. And you had mentioned that it started with that awards talk, and then it kind of expanded out from there. What made you confident or even want to give that talk up on the awards stage? Can you walk us through that kind of emotional journey and what kept you going and doing it even to this day?
So it didn't start with awards. That was like the peak. That was the peak. It has started long ago. So first time I went to an international conference, it was OFF conference, OFF design conference in Barcelona. So it's the biggest design conference. It's the mother of all conferences, as I call it. So I went there in 2013. And as I said, like, I was never a big talent. I had to work my ass to be at the level that I am today. And I wasn't a big talent back then. And when I saw the amount of talent, when I saw those people on stage, one part of me was depressed. I said, I will never be like them. And a second part of me was like, I will get up on the stage. I will make it happen. So the seed was planted back in 2013, and it just made me push and push and push. First of all, to be a better designer, so that my work was worthy of that stage. That was the first step, which was very hard. And as soon as I honed my design skills, I brought them to a level that I was okay with it, because I'm never okay with it. I'm the toughest critic of myself, of course. But as soon as I was okay with it, I had to overcome my insecurities and my stage fright. And my first speaking gigs, I was getting all red and trembling, and it was horrible. So I decided at some point, I did some small talks and stuff that was training. And my first actual gig was in 2019 from a Greek conference, very important conference, Digitized. And I decided to work with a public speaking coach, because I was seeing that very seriously. Like, it was a goal, and I had to do it right, and I couldn't be trembling and being red. And so I worked with her. She helped me very much, like, on that one gig. But she suggested that I saw a therapist to help me further. And that was the biggest gift that I ever done to myself. I mean, I've been working with a therapist for about 3 years now. I'm a completely different person. I'm a completely different person on stage, but I'm a completely different person in general. Yeah, there were a lot of issues that needed to be addressed.
I guess we all have our own. I guess we all have our own level of baggage. I feel like every deep conversation I have with my wife, I'm just like, oh, this happened to me when I was a child, and now I'm like this, and I'm kind of an asshole, and I'm sorry.
So, I mean, so many things are explained. And yeah, I mean, that was the path to where I am today. But what made me, apart from the fact that I wanted to get up on the stage, you see that in my talks, I'm using a lot of quotes from other people, because there were these moments that were so life-changing, like those things that I've heard that just completely changed my way of thinking. And I'm grateful to those events. conference aficionado. Like I used to go to events all the time. Now I'm a little bit, I've slowed down, but I'm grateful to the good that these events did to me. So I want to give back. I definitely want to give back. And as I say, like if I'm able to inspire at least one person, that's the biggest success. That's the way I see it. I definitely don't see myself as an educator. I love my job. I want to keep doing my job, but at the level that I am able to offer as much as I can, I'm going to do it.
I'd love to pivot to some fast and fun questions that are kind of unrelated.
Okay.
Yeah, we do this at the end of every episode. I guess one that I know off the top, is there a particular album, book, or movie that kind of shaped you as a person?
So difficult. Like, and wow, we have like 25 minutes.
A very easy question could be, what is one of your favorite restaurants in London?
Oh
Or
my
Greece,
God.
Greece as well.
I can answer both.
Okay.
This is okay, in London, I had the most incredible fine dining experience at Side Sen restaurant. They just took you on a journey, like a little journey, like in the place itself, and they were telling you the story behind everything they were making, and on a culinary journey as well. It was mind-blowing, every single bite. So and in Greece, there's this amazing place in Athens called Pharaoh, which is in Exarchia, which is an area in Athens that I have very close to my heart. I grew up in there, like when I was into subculture and into the underground. It's a place where anarchists and punks were hanging out. And they just opened up this place this year, which is so sophisticated, and it has this personality, it has sophistication. You only hear vinyls playing. Its cuisine is based on Greek traditional cuisine, but they have elevated like it's such a sophisticated way. So it's a beautiful combination of Greek culture, Greek incredible ingredients and creativity, and music. Like for me, it's paradise.
If you were to categorize or try to explain what your design style or methodology is, how would you try to describe that? And this is hard when you're a designer and you're constantly changing for the project. What are the quintessential things that make good design to you?
Yeah. Strategy comes before everything. And when I say strategy, I mean really deep understanding of the goals of the project, of the values, of the mission of the client, of the brand, of its messaging. So deep understanding of all the aspects of the brand's pillars and goals. Deep research. I'm always doing a lot of research before jumping into design, because I truly believe in meaningful design. This is the only way that the audience is going to really connect with what you're making. And a great focus on quality and on details. Like, of course, I have all every designer has. I'm all about the details. I'm all about the craft, and as different as the project is, like those are. This is definitely my process, and I'm not making any discounts on it.
So that those three elements, if you put them in the right, 3 or 4 elements, if you put them in the right ratios, that equals good design.
To me, yes.
What's your go-to drink of choice? What are you sipping on? Maybe it doesn't have to be alcohol, but what are you sipping on in the off hours or when you're kicking back at night and just trying to relax?
It is alcohol.
All right, what is it?
I'm a gin kind of girl, but I love
nice.
Hendrix. I love Hendrix. Hendrix with tonic.
There was this craft distillery close to where I used to live in Brooklyn called I think it was just Brooklyn Distillery. But they made really good craft, really good quality gin. It had like a good balance of like the botanicals. It was very smooth. So I think that's what I like about it. Yeah.
That's exactly what I love, like smooth botanical kind of gins. Yes. Yeah. That's amazing.
Yeah, maybe you've been hanging out with too many British people. That's why you like gin.
Maybe. I don't know.
I was like, I doubt it's gonna be Uzu, but
Oh,
Uzo.
super strong. Oh my God, I left that like way behind. Like you have Uzo or Tipur like during the summer, during the meeting with your lunch while eating. It's a philosophy, Uzo. It's not a drink. It's a
Yeah.
philosophy about sitting around the table and about telling stories and communicating with people and just pinching like it's like a tapas kind of thing. So it's a philosophy. You can't see it as a drink itself.
Oh, that's cool. I really like that. I don't know if there's anything that has that same, I guess, like mythos or mythology or like storytelling aspect in the States, especially attached to like a drink. That's really cool.
It's a cultural thing. It's
Yeah.
culture. It goes back to our tradition. Like we've always been about, getting together on the table to connect and not just to eat.
Yeah. And I think that is probably a big differentiator because like you see people in the States like eating through lunch. So like they don't take the time to go. If they're gonna go out, they like won't really have like a long conversation. They'll just like eat their lunch and then go back to work.
Yeah, yeah. But that's the worst thing you can do to us. I have these moments with international people. Like we sit on table and we're ready to order, and we're always about sharing. Like for me, I can't order my own plate. But there have been a few moments that it was a bit awkward because the people weren't expecting that.
I
Yeah,
think
we have to clarify.
I think it's the better way to do it. I love sharing. I love like tapas style. But it's just like if you're gonna go have coffee, just sit the fuck down and talk and drink your coffee. Like you don't need to shoot it like an espresso shot or like a shot of like vodka. Like
Exactly.
sit, relax, enjoy your life, and have a conversation.
Exactly.
This is maybe a little bit deep coming off of where we just were, but is there some advice that you would give to your younger self? It could be at any age.
Mhm. Yeah. Definitely to believe more in myself. I recently gave a talk at a creative media college to young people, and this was my advice to them. Definitely believe in themselves and love themselves and believe in what they do and just put it forward.
Yeah.
And don't give a shit about what people tell about it, what people think about you. Just care less about what people think about you and your work, and be true to yourself and believe in yourself. That will be it.
That's beautiful advice. I'm just thinking about like me as like I don't know, like right out of school and just like hustling to try and make good work. I guess you should think less and make more. And yeah, that may be like a
Mhm,
good takeaway for anyone who's young. Just think less,
mhm,
make more, and
mhm.
live your life and have fun.
Yes.
I think it's important. What is something outside of design that is lighting you up right now that you're super excited about?
Yeah, as I said before, great food, great music, great art. For example, I plan my week in London. When I travel, I love traveling. So when I travel, I will always have like a list of things. I'm always have like my calendar filled with little boxes. I do my research. I have my sites, like my design websites. When I find my restaurants, I have my Michelin guide site that I find my restaurants as well. So I'm trying to make every minute count because otherwise it's a waste of time.
Yeah.
And I try to make it around the things I love. So this weekend Lotto really lighted me up because I saw incredible art. I tasted incredible food. Like I had this mind-blowing experience. I met incredible people, like having inspirational conversations with interesting people. That lightens me up, really. And the only thing that I didn't get to do was music because I had booked to go to a gig the last day, but I was so exhausted because every day was full that I
Yeah.
didn't get to do it. Next time music comes first. But that's what lightens me up, really.
But I think that message is like pretty incredible. Is there any last statement that you want to kind of get across to the audience? Any ask of the audience? Buy your course.
No, I'm not going to. I'm not that salesy.
Buy it, damn it.
No.
No, any kind of last kind of message that you would give to the audience?
I think that what I would love to, suggest, not ask, is to be a little bit more thoughtful, to care a little bit more, because as I said before, we have great responsibility as designers, and it's just about making things beautiful, which is important. It's very important because, as I said, beauty, I believe that it can shape cultures and behaviors and make a better world. But just be a little bit more thoughtful. Just don't jump right into things just because they're a trend or hyping right now. Becomes with great power, we have great power as designers, comes great responsibility as well.
Wow. That is an essential and powerful message to end on.
Okay.
Be more thoughtful. Remember that we have power in what we do, but that comes with great responsibility. To everyone out there, just remember to use your power wisely, and that we are all legendary and have our own story to share. So on the journey, be sure to take the time to be kind, to grind, and most importantly, unwind so that you can make more creative work. So let's go out and make the world a better and more creative place. Sophia, this has been incredible and so much fun. Thank you so much for being here.
Thank you so much for the invitation.
I've had a blast. And yeah, I just can't thank you enough.